This is Tuesday, August 12th, and it's Parkersburg City Council meeting. The main item on the agenda tonight is the second and final reading of an ordinance prohibiting feeding animals or fowls in city parks. And then there's an ordinance that will be on the first reading that amends an ordinance that relates to the composition of the design and facade committee members. There's a pretty good crowd here tonight, and it looks like quite a few people signed up to speak at public forum. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. McCready? Here. Ms. Poole? Here. Mr. Brown? Present. Ms. Tuck? Here. Mr. Huffman? Here. Mr. Rexroad? Here. Mr. Borkowski? Here. Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Reynolds?
Present. Council, the minutes of July 8th and July 22nd meeting have been presented to you. Do you have any additions or corrections? Move to approve. Motion and second to approve. Can we get the roll call on that, please?
Mr. McCready?
Yes.
Ms. Poole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Do we have any reports from standing or special committees tonight?
Mr. President?
Mrs. Tuck?
I have a report from the Tree Commission. It met today. It's a very active committee. I'd like to commend all the people who are on that committee. They planted a tree at State Park for Arbor Day, and the city of Parkersburg is an a Tree City USA. That was April 25th. We also established a memorial for Turner Sharp, who was a former member of the Tree Commission. Parkersburg South High School is continuing to work on trees planted at South, and they requested help from the Tree Commission. Mon Power is working with the Tree Commission to clear trees and power lines. We talked a little bit about making plans for Arbor Day 2026. We have volunteers who are taking the wrapping off the new trees on Market Street. They're working very hard to find an arborist to help with the work of the Tree Commission. They're working on public presentations to schools, and that would be in cooperation with Arbor Day. And those would include things like a poster contest, giving seedlings to 4th grade. And then the other thing was we talked about trees that are on municipal property and them being diseased. And a lot of times owners may not know if it's their property, city property, or what the warning signs are for diseases. And the Tree Commission discussed having a public service campaign to let people know what those warning signs would be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Tuck. Anybody else on council have a report from standing special committees tonight? Hearing none, we'll go to public forum. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone signed up tonight?
Yes, sir, we have about 12 or 13, and I think all of them, just about all of them are for the same reason.
Okay. So we'll call the public forum to order. The clerk will call each speaker up to the microphone. Our public forum is 40 minutes total in length, and each speaker that is signed up with the clerk gets 4 minutes to speak. And public forum is now open.
And the first one is Ray Benoit, 36th Street, and that'll be followed by Barbara Buskirk.
How's everybody doing? One of the things I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, I'd like to have the ordinances read in full tonight if possible, because there's not any of them that you give up to people. Also, when reading what I did, some of the ordinances, they're not written correctly. They start off with, let me get to that page. The ordinances that are in the minutes that other people got to see today, it says, be it ordained by the council of the city of Parkersburg. However, it should read, in accordance with chapter 2, section 2.2, every act of the council which is to become law shall be by ordinance and shall begin with enacting clause. The council of the city of Parkersburg hereby ordains. This is a shall, not a valid ordinance unless ordained against me. So I would recommend we change the word and pass it. Any objections to that?
No, sir. Anything else you'd like to talk about on tonight's agenda?
Yeah, no, the ordinance about the cats, it still says the same as what it did a couple weeks ago when it spoke about. It appears the way it's written that nobody can have family picnics, you can't have a food truck. I don't know how we got by with the Parkersburg Fest last weekend with the food. Of course, the ordinance wouldn't pass to that. But animals will eat human food too. Which way you gotta pass? You can't have any food in any manner. You might want to revisit that before you pass it through. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Next is Ms. Buskirk, followed by Ms. Rediker.
My name is Barbara Buskirk. I live in District 9, Parkersburg. I'm the Vice President of Save Kitty Feral Cat Program. Since 2004, Save Kitty has sterilized over 9,500 cats in this area. I'm here this evening to talk to you about the feeding ban ordinance. Feeding bans are ineffective and cruel, and in many towns and cities across the country have already tried and it's failed. They inflict unnecessary cruelty on cats who have already been let down by humans. It also makes trapping more difficult for TNR process. The best chance of successful trapping is to have an established plan of feeding the cats so they're there when you're ready to trap them. We will never adopt our way out of this crisis. The best solution is TNR, especially for feral and semi-feral cats. They are not suitable candidates to be in a shelter environment, and they will face euthanasia. It's been reported that this feeding ban has been in the works for around a year. I would be very interested to know what other options were considered, who did you talk to, and why is this feeding ban the best possible choice? I suspect this was the only option ever considered. This brings up the problem with the cats at Southwood Park, of which Save Kitty has already fixed some of them and vaccinated them as well. We have the others scheduled as we can get appointments for them. Did anybody try putting up signs around the picnic shelters? Please don't feed the animals around the shelters. I mean, a sign was put up at the basketball court to keep litter off the ground with the basketball people coming down. So a sign at the shelter shouldn't have been there. The people, it's my understanding, the people who are feeding these cats are feeding them close to the woods in a discreet area away, and they're not leaving their trash. They're picking it up and taking it with them. The second issue brought up was the cats going to the bathroom all over the park. I suspect a lot of people can't tell the difference between goose poop and cat poop because there is goose poop everywhere at Southwood Park. If your feeding ban ordinance goes into effect, what is your plan to address the cats that are already at the park? Is your plan to starve them out? If that's the case, that is cruelty to animals. That is the same level of cruelty that an individual would face if they starved their own pet. The feeding ban does nothing to address how these cats got there to begin with and who's going to stop them from being dumped again. I promise you, these cats didn't just walk by Southwood Park one day and say, oh, this looks like a good place to live. They were done, unfixed, and the multiplying cats are the result of the direct breeding of these unfixed cats. How do you plan on keeping these cats from being dumped? I have yet to figure it out, and we've been doing this for a long time. There are a lot of components to the cat problem, and feeding them is only one of them. It seems someone didn't do their homework, but they'd have already known that. It's like doing a book report using the footnotes. At the end of the day, you turn in a report, but you still didn't read the book. This feeding ban will not solve the cat problem at Southwood Park or anywhere else in the city for that matter. It will only quiet down a few complainers who, instead of looking for a compromise or a solution, just want to complain. Spay and neuter is the only option we have. Thank you.
Next we have Barbara Rediger, 19th Avenue.
Thank you for your time. I'm District 1.
And move your microphone down a little bit if you could, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you.
I know some people are upset about the feral cats, but starving these cats is not the answer. These cats are the victim. People have created this problem by abandoning cats that become feral. Then the feral cats are not fixed, which leads to more feral cats. There are groups such as Save a Kitty who work to trap and spade these animals. They also provide feeding stations throughout the area. Why could the city council not work with them, maybe even provide some extra funding to help them with this problem? How a society, whether individuals or groups such as yourselves, treat animals reflects on your character. Starving these cats out does not speak well on your character. In the past 3 years, I have fixed 7 cats at my own expense. I also make a monthly donation to the Humane Society and Save a Kitty. I know not everyone can afford to donate money. However, kindness costs nothing, and everyone can afford this.
Next we have Elisa Prince, followed by Sue Ellen Waybright.
All right, here comes Miss Unpopular. I don't care.
Miss Prince, would you see if the mic's turned on? Okay, got it.
Hi, I'm Elisa Prince. I live in District 9. I'm on the opposite spectrum of this. I don't look at this as a feeding ban. I look at this as a legislating common sense. 1938, West Virginia defines what a sidewalk is. 1938. Legislate what a sidewalk is. And it's intended for the use of pedestrians. 1947, Parkersburg said sidewalks need to be swept weekly. 1947, business owners needed to sweep their up front daily. 1947, placing no lath, brick, stone, lime, mortar, shavings, ashes, coal, cinders, straw, hay, mud, paper, manure, filth. on any sidewalk is prohibited. 1982, littering on public property. No person shall litter, throw, place, dump, or scatter any solid waste. 1995, near and dear to my heart. No person shall, having a custody of any dog, cat, or any other animal, shall permit any animal to defecate on any school ground, public street, alley, sidewalk, tree bank, park, etc. It's $100 fine. 2011, no person shall place, deposit, dump, throw, litter, garbage, refuse, trash, cans, bottles, ashes, cigarette butts. You can see how this changed from 47, the different definitions of trash, litter, etc. 2017, no person shall place box, barrel, keg, shelf, table, vegetables, fuel, goods on public property. And I am a cat person. I have 8 cats. I have fixed them all. I donated to the Humane Society. I am a proponent of public places. Please don't tell me what to do on my private property. The public spaces are for everyone. So what that is, we live in a community where sidewalks, parks, public spaces are more than just concrete or grass or tables. They're part of neighborhoods. They're where children ride their bikes, where people walk in Parkersburg. These places truly serve their purpose. They must be free from hazards, safe, accessible, welcoming for all. I hate this part. This requires us to do one simple thing: legislate common sense. Common sense tells us public sidewalks should be free from unnecessary hazards, that our parks should remain clean and usable for the next person who comes along. No one should monopolize a space that belongs to everyone. When we legislate, when we legislate common sense, don't want to create red tape, but we're creating rules that reflect the values that the public space is a shared space. We're acknowledging the rights that come with responsibilities. Think of the sidewalks outside of your home. They're not just for you. They're for the lady on Plum Street, she's 80. That's for the senior citizen who takes their evening constitutional, children walking to school. When someone turns a public space into a private one, it's inconsiderate. It erodes the very thing what community is. Johnny walks to Piggly Wiggly. Without sanitation needs to pick up the cans, be it the alley or the sidewalk. This is why decisions matter. Legislation grounded in common sense keeps public spaces.
Mrs. Prince, that's your 4 minutes. It's that breath you took.
Yes.
Sue Ellen Waybright, Division Street Extension, followed by Jessica Powell, 20th Street.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I am Sue Ellen Waybright. I live in District 2. I chose my house 22 years ago because it was from south.
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Is that microphone on? Do we know? On the bottom side there should be.
On the bottom, ma'am,
It
just
goes red.
Push it while you talk.
and hold it.
There you go.
And hold it. Okay, can you start the clock over?
Go ahead.
When I was asked if I was going to speak at the last meeting about the cats, I responded no, saying I didn't have anything to add since I brought this to council's attention just about a year ago. At that meeting, several council members looked at me like I had 2 heads. Now I do have more to say. Obviously, what has been attempted to solve this problem has not worked. Last year, I reported that I saw at least 12 cats, and by the mayor's report at the last meeting, he counted 18 cats. The cat population is going in the wrong direction. What I want to know is, and many others do as well, is what is the complete plan for relocating the cats after the feeding stops? Is there a safe and humane plan for gathering, fixing, and relocating these cats? If there is a plan, please share it with the public. You have too many people believing these cats are going to starve. If you just expect the cats to stop showing up to be fed, you're seriously mistaken. Before I brought this to council, I asked neighbors near Southward on Capitol Circle and Capitol Drive if they had been impacted by the cats in Southward. I received a variety of answers. A couple of people said they didn't know anything about the Southward cats. One lady told me she was feeding them on her front porch. The guy told me he couldn't let his dog out at night because he would take off chasing the cats. The most disturbing comment that I got was one lady said she knew about the cats, but they weren't her problem. She really didn't care how that might affect our entire neighborhood. That seems to be a troubling sentiment across our country these days. Cats are natural hunters, and if left on their own to find food, they will migrate into District 2 neighborhoods. I have seen cats crawl under the fence that separates the park from Oakwood Apartments, crossing Delmont Road and behind the gazebo. Without a comprehensive plan, the cats will hunt for any food they can find, digging up gardens, flower beds, compost bins, and tearing up trash bags to find food. I'm guessing the sanitation departments will not love that. So please share a comprehensive plan, especially for those worried about the cats starving when feeding stops. Capture, spay and neuter, and find them homes. Perhaps you could even hold an adoption event in the parking lot at Southwood Park. Partner with local agencies such as the Humane Society, Save a Kitty, and the Squat Clinic, and perhaps even give them some funding from one of those reserve funds that you have and make this happen. We need you to build and execute a comprehensive plan soon, so that council can move on to other issues that affect the entire city, like the stormwater drain issues that recently surfaced, amplified by the recent rains. Thank you.
Next, we have Jessica Powell, 20th Street. Then Vicki Yensha.
Hello, I'm District 6, Jessica Powell. As my friends have stated, this feeding ban is not going to work. The cats are not going to go anywhere. They're going to be continuing to look for food and hunt and migrate to other areas. This ban is not going to work. It is also stated in West Virginia Code that it is unlawful for any person to intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly withhold proper substance, including food and water, shelter, and medical treatment necessary to sustain normal health and fitness until the end of suffering, or abandon an animal to die, which is what is going to happen if you pass this ban. These animals rely on humans to come feed them. That's the reason why they are. That's the reason why they stay in their areas, is because they know that they're going to have food. If the food stops coming, they're going to start looking, and everybody is going to have a cat problem. Parkersburg also has the same ordinance that says that regardless, it says no person shall cruelly or needlessly beat, torture, torment, mutilate, kill, or willfully deprive necessary substance to any dog or cat, irrespective of whether any such dog or cat or his or her own or another person's. I understand that the feral cat or the cats at City or Southwood Park are not owned, but the caretakers feed them as they are. We spend money out of our own pockets. We trap and neuter. We trap and neuter out of our own pockets. I have done this myself. So we need to find a better solution for this. Partner with Save a Kitty. Partner with the Humane Society. Talk to the caretakers. We are all willing to work with all of you to get the solution under control. But I promise you, a feeding ban will not do whatever it is you're trying to do. So please reconsider, and we greatly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Next, we have Vicki Yensha, Brentwood Drive.
Just hold that button down, ma'am,
Just-
while you talk, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vicki Shaw, and I am also with State Kitty. Not working at the moment.
Hold it while you talk, I think.
I'm old.
There again.
Is that better? I don't know if many people know too much about Save the Kitty. It's been mentioned several times so far. It has been in inception since 2004, and as Barb said, we have saved almost 10,000 cats. And most of us believe that the cats are the innocent victims here. People are dumping them at the park. And even if you remove the cats that are there, people are just going to dump them again. I have seen this over and over and over. This is not a solution. It's a cruel thing to do to these cats who depend on these caretakers. Save Kitty has been credited with lowering the numbers at the shelter by 25% by trapping them. That's what we need to do. And as someone else mentioned, it would be best for the city to help in this endeavor instead of just letting them die, trying to run them out. One of the members said that there are between 14 and 93 cats in Southwood Park in the last year. That is totally not true. I know all three caretakers that are at the park, and they all gave me the same numbers. We're talking about here, not 93. Even the mayor said last month at the meeting that he counted 15. We need to have correct reporting because it makes it sound a whole lot worse than what it is. I read some of this and it said that they were defecating on sidewalks. That's probably raccoons and possums. I have them at my house. They're the ones that come up and go to the bathroom on my porch, not my cats. Cats do not go on concrete at all. I mean, if anyone that has that outside cat, they know this. And also, this plan is going to enforce expensive fines if anybody is caught beating the cats. I find it odd that there is money to pay policemen and individuals to monitor that area and write down license plate numbers of people who are caught beating, but you don't have the funds to come up with a better plan than this than to just starve the cats out. This town is well known for having highest drug, the county highest drug, the state the highest drug numbers across the country. I don't know as of this date if it's still having that credit. But seriously, folks, there's a whole lot worse wrong with this city than these cats that people love to eat. Some of those cats are eating. They're going to die if they are not taken care of. We have, and someone asked, what are you going to do? I've heard this several times tonight. What are you going to do about this? What's your plan? And the answer that was given was, we have no plan in place. Why even bring this up until you have a plan? Work with everybody and see if a plan can't be made that's better than just starving the cats. And if someone tries to remove these cats, you know what's going to happen? Southwood is going to be overrun with mice, rats, and snakes. There's a water source there that blends them in. Really, they really, really, really need to come up with a better idea.
Next we have Carolyn Cunningham, Pennsylvania Avenue, followed by Carol Williams, Ridgeway Avenue.
Hi, I'm here to speak for the county. I am a cat feeder. And I can go through everything I've got written down that's already been mentioned. We have to have a solution. And my main concern is, maybe the councilman, maybe you guys all need to rethink your votes. You don't have to be a follower, be a leader.
Next is Carol Williams, Ridgeway Avenue.
My name's Carol Williams, and I'm here on behalf of the cats in Southwood. I think, as a city, we need to all come together. We are better than this. We are truly better than this. And the solution is not to fine people for feeding God's animals. We're supposed to be good stewards of God's house and gardens. We are so much better than this. I mean, if you just sit and you think, I come up with a solution to find people for feeding God's animals. That's not a solution. It is not a solution. We can work together, we can come together, and we can fund Save a Kitty. And we can take care of God's creatures that He has us to do. That's what we're supposed to do. And I ask each and every one of you to just sit and ask yourself, are we doing the right thing for Parkersburg? Are we doing the right thing for God's people? For God's creatures? Just ask yourself that question before you vote tonight. I mean, that's all I'm asking you to do. You have got a room full of people that love these cats, and I'm one of them. I don't go feed them, but they do. Through Save a Kitty program in my neighborhood, I have been able to spay and neuter 5 cats. Another that was going to die. It is heartbreaking to think that I pick up a newspaper weeks ago and read this on the front page. We are better than this, Parkersburg. City Council, you are better than this. Just stop and ask yourself. I mean, just stop and ask yourself. These are God's cats. They cannot fend for themselves. Some people think they can. They will die. They will die. We can come up with a better solution. We've got to work together as a community, as a city. Now, thank you for your time.
Next, we have Pritchard, West Virginia Avenue.
I have to hold this button down, for God's sake. Okay. I wasn't going to speak tonight because, much as I appreciate the Save a Kitty folks, my walking route goes by a couple of places where they do good work. I want to point out, this is an example of dysfunction. This is an example of not talking to experts. This is an example of not going to the local people that know Save a Kitty, Humane Society, that know about cats. Now, this is just an example that sounds trivial. Just cats, right? Unfortunately, this is an example of how things get done around here. Ordinances, programs, things that happen where you don't go, you don't spend the time to talk and get input from experts. Talk and get input from your constituents. Talk and get input from your community that can inform your decisions. It's a decision-making issue. And so that's what I'm speaking about, just a perfect example of how decisions get made locally in this body, in our city council, by our mayor, that everybody thinks they know everything. And you don't. You do not. You have a community of experts, a community of well-informed people. Take advantage of that, get them involved, and develop your programs, your ordinances, your decision-making based on what you can learn. What you can learn. And the other thing is, if you can decide what you're going to do with my sidewalk, then you pay for my sidewalk.
Next, we have Miss Triplett, 17th Avenue.
I'm one of the ladies too who feeds the cats in Southwood Park for the last 3-4 years since the COVID
came, you know, people been dumping the cats left and right. And these ladies who talked already, I agree with everything you say. You cannot let these cats starve. You know, I saved many cats. I've been in this country since 1970, married one of your soldiers who passed away 7 months ago. And I'm here still take care of these cats every night. And you want to find those penalties for feeding these cats? This is unreal. I can't believe stuff like this. I'm from Europe. This stuff like wouldn't happen in this country. And talk about cleaning. You know, Southwood Park, in the 40 years ago, Mayor Smith, out there, he fixed that podium. And there was entertainment there and stuff like that. Since the COVID, there's no more entertainment. So we put the kids there. In his name, that place was dedicated in his name. And he destroyed that whole podium. Now the place is a pig pen over there. The barrels of straw all over the place. We took that place apart. Now these poor cats, people been dumping, they've been pets. These cats are usually 5-6 months old when people dump them because we cannot afford to get them fixed. So many of these ladies right here, like me, I've been helping with the Humane Society. I've got 3 cats of myself at home from these cats. When the weather was bad the last 2 years in March, you know, some cats froze to death. I took 3 of them home, and my friend here, we found homes for some of them. Some of them died because and then some men who was nice enough built dog houses, put them way back in the woods. Those cats stay way back in the woods. They don't even come where the people are. They only come out when they come, they know our cars. And then they come out and we're food. They don't leave no poop on the cement or anything, you know. There's people now, but you destroy that part where the cats are. People are there in the evening with their 4-wheelers. There's deers up there between the armory and the woods. There's plenty of deers up there, and those guys come at night, you know, that whole place with their 4-wheelers. And these cats are scared to death right now, you know. And like I said, we have already 7 or 8 fixed. And some of us found homes for myself. Like I said, I've been doing that. It really happened since the COVID kicked in. There was no more entertainment. Since then, these cats been there for the last 3-4 years. It's very upsetting. I'm nervous and I'm sorry, and I'm glad to let you talk. That's all I can say about it. And I think it all what this lady say. Thank you.
Next, we have Robin Tennant, 33rd Street, Vienna, sir.
Hello, my name's Robin Tennant. I live in Vienna, so I realize that maybe you don't think I should have a say in it. I am a volunteer at the Humane Society. I'm also a foster mom for the Humane Society. I dearly love animals, all animals, but especially the ones that we have domesticated. This is not a cat problem. This is a people problem. When we domesticated animals, we became responsible for them. The problem is that there are a lot of irresponsible people that live in this town. They dump animals. This morning, the Humane Society found 3 kittens in a taped box that thrown over a fence. This is what we're dealing with. It's an ethical problem. These are living creatures that we are responsible for. What you're proposing doesn't make any sense. I echo what a lot of other people said. We need to work together as a community to fix this problem. Come up with a reasonable solution. One that's not cruel. One that's not mean. Ask the experts. These ladies that feed the cats, they know these cats. They can probably tell you exactly how these animals act. If you discontinue this, they're not going to be able to trap and neuter. What does that lead to? More kittens. If you start doing this, you're going to be overrun with cats and kittens. You'll never get rid of them. TNR is the best solution. In case you don't know what that means, it means trap, neuter, and return. The park or wherever else these cats are being fed, that is their home because we as humans have abandoned them. Look at the statistics on TNR. Look at research TNR. See what the program entails. It works. But it's not going to work if you just put a ban in place. You're going to punish volunteers who spent their time, effort, and money taking care of these cats. You should be thanking these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
We have Don Wheeler from 41st Street, Vienna.
Madam Clerk, you said Dawn Wheeler?
Don, yes. And then there's one more. Mr. Hayden later.
Hi, my name is Dawn Wheeler and I'm from Vienna. Hi, my name is Dawn and I'm from Vienna. Dawn Wheeler from Vienna. I just came up here, I didn't plan to talk tonight, so bear with me. I am a caretaker. I do TNR. Most of the time I do this out of my own pocket. I work 2 jobs. I work at an animal clinic, and I see that TNR does work. I will give an example. I've been doing this now for probably 9 to 10 years. Every day, 7 days a week, rain, snow. We, as TNR people, take care of our cats. We know how to keep our area clean. We know how to keep things hidden. We know how to keep the cats fixed, and we know when we get people dumping, or, which I've had that happen to me, we have to take the animals in and find homes for them. I did an area in Marietta that I went to, and when I first got there, there was so many sick cats. They were so sick, they were starving. Until you look into their eyes and see their faces of desperateness. They want help, and we are there to help them. They were hungry, they were starving, they were full of fleas. I found one kitten, a bunch of kittens that were dumped, and one of them was ran over by a bicycle and left there dead to die. And I thought, I have to get this area fixed up. So I started going by every day and feeding. I live in Vienna. This is in Marietta, okay? And I fixed about 30 cats with the help of Save the Kitty and the help of my veterinarian. And I adopted out about 18 myself, 18 kittens in my house. I wanted to make sure this area was cleaned up. I kept my area clean. Made little houses for them, even though people argued about it and they yelled at me about it, and the things that we go through to do this, of people hating cats, it's not their fault. People keep dumping, but I was there to keep picking them up, and I kept that area nice and neat. And TNR does work. But luckily someone else took it over, and it's under control now. And I thank God for that. But I've got my own areas now that I do. And I couldn't imagine someone telling me to stop feeding my cats. They wait on me every day. They're there, happy to see me every day. And I know some of you probably aren't cat people, maybe dog people. But any animal or any human, no one should go hungry in this country. With the resources that we have, the funding that should be there, I think that we could do this. I think that we can come up with a plan to help this matter. why can't we be the first? Why can't we be the town that everybody knows of? Wow, they got their shit together. Excuse my language.
Mrs. Wheeler, you've reached your 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
We've reached our 40-minute time limit for public forum, so I'll declare public forum closed, and we'll move on to a message from the executive. We have 40 minutes. We've reached it. We're over it.
I got a couple of things real quick. First, I had the privilege yesterday.
Yeah, don't be disruptive to our meeting.
Yesterday, Judge Warden invited me to his family treatment court graduation over in his, would it have been his courtroom or his chambers, Blaine? His chambers or his office, right?
His courtroom.
Yeah, so I was in his courtroom. Luckily, I haven't been to circuit court a whole lot. Never indicted. And I just want to share a few things. So there are 14 family treatment courts operating in 18 counties in West Virginia. The cost is anywhere from $85,000 to $100,000 a year. And these are folks, Chief, I was told there's abuse, kind of strict abuse and neglect, not necessarily other criminal. Is that your understanding of those family treatment courts as well?
Correct.
It's abuse and neglect. So the national average for a child spending time in foster care is 22.6 months. The West Virginia average is 18.8 months for a child staying in foster care. With the West Virginia Family Treatment Court, that average is 10.8 months, so they're about 8 months better. The courts across the state have served 680 parents, 954 removed children, total of 526 total family units served. They've graduated 309 participants since their inception in 2019, with 437 children reunified with their families. There have been 17 infants born, during their mother's family treatment court participation. All 17, 100%, were born free of illicit substances. So some of my time the last few years has been through my role as the elected member for Region 3 West Virginia First Foundation. And then I believe it's called neonatal abstinence syndrome. West Virginia, unfortunately, leads the nation in that. So we were talking about drug stuff a bit earlier. But I can tell you, there's not a program out there back to 100%, other than this one that I'm aware of. Of the 437 children reunified with their parents who are FTC graduates, only 10.7% have re-entered foster care within 2 years as of August, last week, August 2025. Again, that's another. So if you look at, Chief, would it be accurate to call that 10% back in recidivism? I know it's not the traditional penal sense, but folks who, they get their kids back, they end up losing them again. 10%, that's a super high success rate, low number of recidivism.
10% is very good.
Yeah, so I just, that's something that I don't think a lot of folks realize is, and it's a program that you have to apply for, and then I believe the Judge Ward does it in this, here in Wood County. I think he has to, and it's my understanding it's very intensive treatment. So I just wanted to share that. I think that's some good news. And I do not generally consume news. There was all kinds of media there yesterday. You probably all heard news like this already, but I was impressed. And I think that's a good program. And if the West Virginia legislature doesn't continue to fund that program, I would be supportive. I'm speaking to my 9 friends to my left. I would be supportive of us trying to keep something that's been proven that successful going at least in our own backyard. So just something to keep in mind. The other thing, I guess I have a few notes here. I agree with a lot of what was said tonight with regards to the cat ordinance, in that it's a people problem. And I can assure you, no one up here, at least you better not have, because I'm sticking my neck out here, dropped the cat off anyway. And whether how council votes, I think I made my point very clear. I think it's time to do something, and I think this is we're often called upon to solve a problem that we didn't create, whether it be a drainage problem that existed because either the city didn't have a city engineer in 1956, or that city engineer didn't think to make anybody put in proper drainage, or so it's not like we don't make a habit of being called upon to fix things that we had zero, and then I guess the other piece of that is I would say this legislation, and I do believe it to be properly crafted, Mr. Myers. Not that you need my vote of confidence, but I believe you did it the right way. This doesn't ban. This is not a ban on continuing to collect cats and spay and neuter. There was talk about folks cleaning up. I can tell you right now, there are about 7 or 8 guys in the Parks Department who have been cleaning up from the feeding, and it may not be Save a Kid. Maybe there's other people feeding who don't come back and clean up after. I think Chief Ward's seen some of that. He lives top of the hill. So that's all I have to say about that. I appreciate your time. I know that sometimes these things you folks get passionate about things, and I appreciate that. I appreciate folks being curious, but I would argue that I can't tell the difference between raccoon scat and cat scat, because I actually won a contest at Scout Camp one time, being able to identify the most animals scat. And I would also argue that there are cats on Foley Drive that do defecate on concrete, because I deal with it every morning and I got video that I can show you. So, that's all I have tonight, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Clerk, can we get the reading of ordinance on final reading, please?
An ordinance prohibiting feeding animals or fowl in city parks as amended July 22nd.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole?
move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Do we have any questions from council?
Mr. President.
Mr. Moore? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rexford.
You want to go ahead and you first here?
He gave the floor to
Mr. Rexford.
After hearing everyone speak, it sounds like we have multiple individuals as well as organizations willing to work with us to solve this problem. How we solve it, I think everybody agrees it is a problem. It's how we solve it is kind of what we're looking at right now. I would like to make a motion to table this and form a special committee with members of council and whoever Mr. Reynolds chooses, and work with some of these people to maybe come up with a better solution than just cutting off the feeding. It may end up coming to that we might be able to work together to find a better solution. So I'd like to make that motion.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to table. We have any questions on the motion? Mayor,
I'm not opposed to that, but I would ask that it be altered to make it an amendment to make the ordinance effective 6 or 8 months from passage, because I've seen things die on the table. I don't know the parliamentary rules if, and I'm not going to put Mr. Myers on the spot, but I think, and I don't care, I just think that this has been hashed out. We've asked for folks to not feed the cats. They told us basically to pound sand. So I would just encourage, if you want to go that route, and we can do that. Can we not, Mr. Myers? Can we make an ordinance effective as opposed to when upon mayor's signature that it's effective 6 or 8 months from passage?
That would be up to city council if they chose to do it. I would also, a motion to table is not debatable. So, I just wanted to point that
Well,
out.
I would amend that to make it a motion to table, to form a special committee to discuss it with interested parties, but like the Mayor said, have the ordinance go into effect within 6 months if nothing is solved.
Mrs. Tuck, is it your second speech?
I second that.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cool.
I love animals. Anyone who doesn't think I do does not know me. I have been, it's been 1 year since I went over to Southwood when Miss Wainwright came and complained I had seen the cats. I went over to Southwood. I talked to them. At that point in time, they told me they had 12 cats. They only had 4 more to be neutered. I was very happy with that. They were feeding them at Allison Stage. It was away from, it wasn't at our picnic shelters. They weren't going in the volleyball courts. I had not had any complaints about defecation in the volleyball courts where kids play. My main concern was kids like to play in sand, and we have a lot of kids at Southwood who use that park. And they would go over and they would dig in the sand. Well, they don't know what defecation is. So kids play. They have their sand boxes there. I've seen them. And they get their hands dirty, and just like any other kid, what do? It goes to their mouth. Then it goes to their eye. I am more concerned about what is going to happen to our kids, what disease, because don't shake your head. I've already checked into this, please. I'm more concerned about how it's going to affect our children as far as an illness, okay? One parent has already told me their child got sick. So, anyway, I have asked them not to feed the cats, So then, it's not 2 weeks later, I go, and they're feeding the cats at every shelter. Those are the shelters that our families use. That's where they have their family gatherings. That's where they eat at. Just 2 weeks ago, the church group came over at 9 o'clock at night and was having their kids there playing. As soon as they got there, the cats came up to them. I know those are not feral cats. Feral cats will not come near you unless they know their feeder. Okay? Stray cats will. Okay? People are dumping cats off. I saw a lady drop off 10 cats because they know we feed them. They know the cats can get fed there. Do I want to do a ban? No. Do we need help? We didn't create the problem. Whoever started feeding those cats at Southwood did. And this is on you. And I don't know who started it. I have no idea, and I don't even want to know. But if anyone out here knows who started it, we're willing to sit down and work with you. What can we do to eradicate and get these cats out of our park? They're not a city park. They're not a Jackson Park. They're a Southwood.
yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Okay, not as many, okay? I've never heard any complaints from anyone, okay, at the end of the cats are overruled. But I've got cat problems in my street, okay? I deal with it. The public should not have to deal with this. The park is, I am willing to work with anyone who wants to trap them, but they can't be released back to Southwood. It's just going to bring in more cats.
They'll come back.
So, anyway.
Now is not the time to speak, everybody. You all had a chance to sign up and speak. And now if you speak at this during our meeting, then you're being disruptive. And you can be removed. No, now is not the time for anybody to speak.
No one's done anything.
Mrs. Crew has the floor.
I have worked with this. I've talked to them.
Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds.
Mrs. Crew, are you done?
I am, Mr. Reynolds.
Mr. Morgan.
Okay, there's a few of us that went over Sunday night to check out how much cats was there, and we was there from 8 o'clock to around 9:15. A red car pulls up, gets out, and goes right in front of us and feeds them at every shelter, throwing food at the shelters. Okay? cats were coming out of the woods, coming everywhere. There was probably 30. There was a group of people went over there. And they definitely cannot keep feeding them at the shelter. They've got to be somewhere else.
Anybody else on council have any questions?
Mr. President, I think I'm really grateful that Sharon has spent a year working on this, and I think that one of our people brought up a good question that we have the opportunity of working with other agencies, and I don't see any contradiction between taking 6 more months out to come up with a thorough, comprehensive plan. And the other thing, I did talk with the public health department about the disease nuisance, and they are not required to.
Mr. McCready, what's your point of order, sir?
Go ahead and vote on the motion we got on the table.
Call for the vote.
Yes.
Call for the vote, Madam Clerk. Right now, the motion on the table is to table. Motion to table.
Motion to table.
Motion to table, it's not the amendment?
Right now, we've got a motion and a second. Mr. Rexford's motion was to table. Motion to table. So that's what you will be voting on right now.
6 months?
6 months, yes, ma'am.
Mr. McCready?
No.
Ms. Cool?
No.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
No.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Mr. Reynolds?
No. Motion to table fails. Now back to the original ordinance on final reading. Mayor?
I would again reiterate that, and I don't live near Southwood Park. Like I say, I got my own cat problem in my own neighborhood. But I would be supportive of, and quite frankly, there's only one of you guys out there that is, I'm your constituent. But I would be supportive of an effective date of 4, 6, or 8 months. I don't want to go a year. And then, quite frankly, those folks that want to put a committee together and have a solution, I think the solution is, and I talked about it at the last meeting, the TNR. This does not ban that. This just says you can't keep feeding them. So whether it be Save Kitty or anybody else, I don't know if that's my microphone or what, but if someone wanted to make an amendment to make this legislation effective 6 months from today, that gives folks 6 months to come up with a safe and suitable way so these cats don't starve to death. If that is indeed what's going to happen, I don't know that I particularly agree with that. I think the strongest cats will find something to eat. Anyway, so I'm just putting that out there. If someone wants to make that amendment, it's not going to make it unpalatable when Connie brings it to me for signature if it were to pass.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we agree. Pass the ordinance. Not enforce it for 6 months. If we don't have a solution in 6 months, then this goes into effect. Come to that.
Are the police going to enforce it?
No, sir. No, sir. Whoever you are.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Mr. Brown's amendment to have the ordinance go into effect 6 months from today's date. Are there any questions about the amendment?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Trump?
I would like to know, in this interim period, the police will not be enforcing this. It's all on hold at this point. Thank you.
If I may, if the effective date of the ordinance is not for 6 months, there's nothing to enforce. So quite frankly, if they have, and I don't want to, especially the ladies, because I don't want to go into that's why I've been saying that for 51 years. If if you gotta feed cats to trap, neuter, and return, you can feed the cats for 6 months, and we'll go, I mean, quite frankly, you got at least 3 or 4 people who are willing to go over and count the cats. So, to answer your question, I think it's answered pretty simply. We got 2 sworn guys back there. If the ordinance is not effective, can you enforce it?
Yes, sir.
That's common sense. I forget who talked about common sense. I think it was the young lady who talked last time. But once the ordinance becomes effective, we'll have opportunity. It may not be an issue in 6 months. There may not be enough cats to where it's a problem, and they don't have any cats to feed. But from what I've seen, we've been feeding these cats or they've been feeding these cats for a number of years. We've seen more cats. So to answer your question, there's nothing to enforce until the effective date, which I believe, Mr. Brown, you said 6 months from today. So there's 6 months. Everybody's got time, and if you guys want to form a committee, have at it.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can we read back the amendment, please? To make sure everybody knows what they're voting on.
To pass the ordinance and it will be in effect 6 months from today.
The language that I would add to the ordinance consistent with the amendment is that if it passes, the ordinance shall become effective on February 12, 2026.
Thanks, sir. Okay, Madam Clerk, can we get the vote on the amendment?
Mr. McCready?
Yes.
Ms. Poole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
No.
Mr. Huffman?
No.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
No. Amendment passes. Now, as amended, please.
Mr. McCready? As amended.
Yes.
Ms. Poole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
No.
Mr. Huffman?
No.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
No. Ordinance on final reading as amended passed. Can we get ordinance on first reading, please?
An ordinance amending Article 135006 relating to the composition of the Design and Facade Committee members.
Mr. President,
Mr. Rexford?
move to adopt the ordinance on first reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions on the ordinance first reading from council?
Mr. President?
Mrs. Tuck?
When I talked with Mr. Myers about rewriting the ordinance, it was with the intention of clarifying some language, like to be consistent with Central Business District, to specify the 4-year terms. And we also wanted to resolve the question about a person having been elected to the facade committee who did not run a business and was not a representative of the business. But at the same time, she added value to the facade committee. So we came up with the idea of a sort of at-large person that would be appointed with the cooperation of the president of the downtown Parkersburg and the facade committee. But it was pointed out to me that when we did that, we inadvertently created a 6-member voting team, which may not always be the best number. Mr. Myers, would you comment on the advantage of how do we? What would be the disadvantage of having that 6th person and having a not a tiebreaker of a vote in that situation?
The voting members under the ordinance are 6 now in this amendment.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, there are 6, the ordinance is presently in place at 6 voting members.
Okay, and the addition of the 5th one would make it 7 voting members?
Well, obviously, if you expanded the committee by 1, it would then go 7.
Then you would have 7, you would have the tiebreaker. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the ordinance on first reading and a second. Are there any other questions from council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, the vote, please.
Mr. McCready?
No.
Ms. Cool?
No.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
No.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Mr. Reynolds?
No. Ordinance on first reading fails. We have a motion to adjourn. We stand adjourned. Our next meeting is August the 26th.